Good evening and welcome to Lich, Please. My name is Phil, and this is Ray, my co-host, and
Hello, everyone.
we are happy to welcome you all to another episode where this evening we've decided to sit down and have a bit more of a personal discussion rather than an interview on a topic that might be a bit odd coming from a pair of slightly non-humanoid creatures as ourselves. After having so many folks on the show that are a bit against type, shall we say, we decided to have a talk about nature versus nurture and how that lends into different creatures and their behavior. Now, Ray, you're a beholder, as is well
I am,
established.
indeed, a
Some
beholder. Actually, I want to admit something. I've been lying to the viewers this entire time. I'm not a beholder. I'm just a spectator. I'm
Oh,
just a lowly, stupid, dumb spectator.
Ray, it's okay. All problems
Get your hand off me.
can be
Get
solved.
your hand off me right now. I will disintegrate you. Get your hand off me. Okay, thank you.
All problems can be solved first through recognition and second through effort. However,
I'm just kidding, guys. By the way, I am a beholder. Full beholder. Very powerful. Very dangerous. Don't mess with me.
moving on.
Sorry, you can continue.
Now, we wanted to talk a bit about sort of the nature of evil, so to speak. And I understand this might be a bit of a heady topic, but it's a bit important for us. You know, we've encountered a fellow beholder who was raised to be good over the past few weeks.
Didn't believe it one bit.
We've encountered a fire giant who turned out to be in love with a dragon.
Thought that was very odd. Beautiful. Very odd.
And we've encountered a monk who was slightly against type simply because he was a drunken master, despite being a fairly young gnome, if I remember correctly.
I wouldn't exactly call him a drunken master, more like probably like a drunken novice, maybe.
I
He was
I
a
would.
little bit on the green side.
You've never watched him play darts after he's a few tankards in, my friend. Now,
No. Why
it,
would I watch anyone play darts?
I just wanted to see how much money he could win. It was quite impressive. However,
Did he earn enough money to buy you out of his contract? After he realized that he did sign his soul away?
Ray, you know we're not supposed to talk about that.
Okay, sorry.
Now, Ray, as I was saying, you're a beholder. I, myself,
Yes.
am a lich. We are not nice creatures, by any means.
Excuse me, I think I am a very nice person.
A nice person,
How
yes,
dare you say otherwise?
but
I'm very offended.
we are both still quite dastardly in our practices.
I mean, you're the only person here that buys people, well, that gets people to sign their soul away to you. I just disintegrate people I don't like. Mine is quick and painless. You torture them over thousands of years.
No, I just put them to work.
There's a fine line between slavery and work.
I pay them fairly, they get medical benefits. Anyways, that's beside the point.
Raising them from the dead after you kill them 5 times is not medical benefits.
Debatable. I would call that a medical benefit because it inevitably prevents their death, but that's just me. Also,
the mental torture they go through is absolutely unheard of anywhere else.
I also offer them therapy. I have a cleric on site at all times.
You know what?
Moving on, Ray. Now,
okay.
You yourself were raised in the traditional beholder way of living either in the abyss or the underdark, and I believe you've done both, correct?
I am originally from the underdark. I raised myself. I was a single beholder. Popped into existence somewhere. I don't remember. I wandered for a while. just a new beholder life. Wandered through tunnels, figured out what my rays did. Eventually, collected a horde of things, magical items and such, and eventually moved to the Abyss, a nice holiday home, vacation stay place. It's beautiful there. If you've never been, definitely recommend it. It's the most beautiful place I think I've ever seen in my life. If you're into the kind of aesthetic they've got going on, which is torture and very spiky things.
And an infinite, unending, ever-changing maze which can drive the average walker mad. It's a beautiful place.
Absolutely beautiful.
I have been on vacation before. However,
nice place.
This has led you to be, shall we say, a bit of a tyrant when it involves your own domain. Like you said, you disintegrate anyone.
I'm not one of those eye tyrants. They are disgusting. They don't even have skin.
Fair. However, you do disintegrate anyone you dislike, which is quite tyrannical in its own right, especially since you dislike almost everyone.
I don't dislike you or Kenku Sound Guy. I mean, I have to tolerate Josh.
True.
And Rezik, I have to tolerate him too. I have to tolerate about pretty much everyone that comes through the yawning portal. Because, they'll kick me out if I start disintegrating people left and right. So, I gotta just keep that to a minimum.
And so we hit the crux of the issue, because we have also met Mr. Bex, the beholder from a few episodes ago, who was a quite different breed, shall we say.
I still don't believe what he was selling.
No, I believe him wholeheartedly, just because I find him intriguing. For those of you that may have missed that episode, Bex was a bright pink beholder who was quite capable of running a magic shop and was actually raised by a gentle wizard and wound up becoming a bit of an untraditional beholder in terms of being more helpful and polite. He even removed his disintegration ray and changed it to a spell focus that he would be able to cast magic through it.
Okay, that part I found very, very interesting. I'm gonna try and figure out how to do that, because that could probably come in useful a lot. I'll probably do it with one of the useless rays, like the charm ray. I don't want to take anybody over. I just want to kill them. But I don't want to command anyone to do anything.
Ray, are you finally volunteering to be a part of one of my experiments?
No, definitely not. You're not getting my signature on any piece of paper that you hand to me.
Oh, please, Ray, I would be more than happy.
I can't even sign my name. I don't have any hands.
True. But that said, to get a little egotistical here, I myself, being a Lich, am naturally bent more towards control, towards resurrection, towards attempting immortality. Now, for those of you that have heard our very first episode of the show, you know this was intended so that I may perform this wonderful show for you and in turn interview some of my favorite creatures from the multiverse. But
he does have ulterior motives. Don't let that fool you.
My ulterior motive is simply to provide wonderful content for our dear listeners and possibly collect a few interesting folks along the way.
And command an army of the dead that can take over the entire multiverse.
I already attempted that once. It did not go as planned.
You can live forever. You can do it again.
Very true.
Don't believe his lies.
The creation of a Lich involves shunting my soul into an object which I will not mention here, and it can be quite painful. In fact, most people who attempt this are already a little bit mad, and it only pushes them further over the edge. Well, that's all I'm going to say on the matter. As you can see, I came out perfectly fine.
I would raise an eyebrow if I had one.
I can give you one if you choose.
No, thank you.
Be interesting, just one giant unibrow.
No, please.
Maybe give you one for each eye ray. That would be hilarious.
That would be the worst thing I would look like.
Now,
I would look more like a flump than a beholder.
Yes, you would. It would be lovely.
So I don't exactly want that at all.
Now, the reason I bring this up is just to show that there are, shall we say, shades of evil. There are the chaotic, disintegrate everyone you see type like Ray here. There's the more calculated, destroy the multiverse type as myself. There's the more mischievous, just draw random eyebrows on everything type as well. And as
Or
such,
the worst type. I knew a girl like this before. She put googly eyes on everything. Okay?
yes, I remember her. She even stuck them on you back in college, and it was hilarious.
Oh, it was awful. Okay?
If I remember right, it also blocked a few of your eye rays for a couple of weeks until someone finally took pity enough to remove them.
Yeah. That was not a fun time. Well, I mean, yeah, it was just the googly eyes on everything. That was the only issue I had.
It only happened because you dumped her.
Yeah.
You know that was the retaliation. You don't have to play coy about it.
Sure, let's go for that.
Now, that said, just like there are shades of evil, there are also more of a spectrum along the good side of things. Rezik, for example, is a bit more chaotic with his drinking. He maybe got in a bit of trouble. I've heard some of his stories after he's gotten into his cups. However, there was also Joshua, who I would say was less evil and more just in it for himself. He had his own motivations.
He was in love. Okay?
True.
People do stupid stuff when they're in love.
But it is stupidity of the most beautiful sense.
Like, stay with someone who puts googly eyes on everything.
So I suppose we've had this entire conversation just to have people remember that it doesn't matter what creature you are, it matters more the creature you are trying to be. So whether you're a bright pink beholder or a monk who doesn't know when to stop drinking, please just keep in mind, folks, that not everything is quite as it seems. Although sometimes it is, at least in the case of myself and Ray.
Yeah, he's gonna try and take over the world. Please stop him. He's holding me hostage. Save me.
Ray, you know that's nearly a breach of your contract.
I didn't sign any contract. I'm here of my own will.
And that's what you think. Now, please, folks, enjoy your evenings, and I do hope to have you back for our next interview.